What is good, cloudy people, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Bobbalam lopping this dig old bick on the table to let Cardi know I'm serious and I'm rocking with Pierre Bourne now, cause he don't cap about his release dates. Only way he can win me back now is if he drops Red, but no way that's happening. But anyways, as I was saying regarding TLOP, aka The Life of Pierre mixtape slash album series by Pierre Bourne, he has officially announced the release date of TLOP4 Deluxe, as well as previewed some new music from the tape, and of course we got some other leaked information that Pierre doesn't know we have. And then after the TLOP4 Deluxe rundown, according to an interview with Lil Yachty on Genius, the two apparently weren't seeing eye to eye and are now not on good terms. But before we get into all that, Bob Gang featured comment of the video is from Griffin Watts, who said, "Only red that got dropped was Yachty's hair. All we can hope for at this point is that Cardi stole the red hair dye in Yachty's braids to use in the whole lot of red cover art, because I feel like they've been working on that for the last 2 months. But back to the topic, everything we know about Pierre Bourne's upcoming project, TLOP4 Deluxe, and his recent beef with Lil Yachty, let's talk about it. Okay, so before we begin, for those of you who aren't hip to Pierre Bourne, he may be the most underrated rapper of our lifetime, and that's really only because of how successful he has been as a producer in recent years. I mean, many rap fans would say he is the best producer in the game right now, even outside of the Playboi Carti community, as he has produced for many of the greats in the game right now, such as obviously Playboi Carti, who he blew up with due to his Ayo Pierre Come Out Here producer tag on Magnolia, but also Lil Uzi Vert, and before that, Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine, but most significantly, even with the likes of Drake, the biggest artist I believe ever, not just in hip-hop. So no wonder why nobody checks out his solo music, because they simply think he's solely a producer. In fact, according to Pierre Bourne in an interview with Kids Take Over, he was a rapper first who produced for himself at the start and began selling beats and engineering for other artists in Atlanta while he was broke just to make money. Even Playboi Carti had no idea Pierre rapped after months of working on Carti's self-titled mixtape that Pierre actually almost featured on, but ultimately decided against.
Produced for all the biggest artists. So
I ain't complain. It wasn't a complaint. It was just the world made that switch, because this is TLOP5 I'm about to drop.
Yeah.
And I blew up when TLOP4 was coming out.
Okay.
And 1, 2, and 3 was already on SoundCloud. It's just the world took me in as a producer because of Magnolia. But it ain't like I was like, oh shit hits the fan, let me just start being a rapper now. Like, I don't ever want people to think that's what was going on, because that's not how that happened. I started making beats for myself first.
To rap on, okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
and I moved to Atlanta to engineer for myself first. I was broke. I needed to make some money.
Yeah.
So people wanted beats, that's money. You wanted me to record them, that's money. So that's what got me in. But that's not what I am. So I just want people to understand that, like, it's not a producer switch. It's none of that shit. I was rapping first. Cardi switched on me on his Snapchat before Magnolia even came out. That's my song. He called me and said, I didn't know you rap. I was like, you didn't tell me to play you my rap song when I pulled up. You said you wanted to play some beats.
Right. Right, no, I got that.
I would have rapped on the first album, but I said, nah, I kind of like this shit. I might blow up as a producer, be one of the biggest producers in the world. Fuck it, let's do it. Let's run it up.
And that was actually me for a while, but wow was I wrong. For when I checked out TLOP4, and yes, I know I was late on the Pierre movement, but damn, this dude is straight flames, and now one of my favorite artists. I would say he's probably most well known for his trippy visual music videos that go crazy, like think old Cole Bennett and Playboi Carti fan edits with a mix of video game 3D effects, just like his production. And not to mention, since he's also a rapper, he makes more money than most of your favorite rappers, because producers get about the same amount of money, at least royalties wise, off the music as the artist, not necessarily from shows or whatever, but to offset that, they can produce for way more artists without getting stale, unlike if an artist drops too many tapes in a row. But also, Pierre Bourne produces all of his own solo music, so he don't gotta pay no one when his checks come in for the album streams. But aside from all that, his melodies on his choruses and even verses are untouchable. People ain't giving him the respect he deserves, and unfortunately, probably never will, because of how big he exploded as a producer. Now that we have effectively separated Pierre Bourne from the misconceptions of only being a producer and the sidekick of Playboi Carti, we can get into the new info we've gathered regarding TLOP4 Deluxe. But first, let me say, the original TLOP4 is already one of my favorite projects ever with no skips, so I'm expecting a lot out of the Deluxe, especially with what we're about to discuss. In fact, according to Pierre himself, the whole point of the TLOP series was to get Kanye West's attention, who is one of his biggest inspirations in music growing up, as he was a legendary producer. And on TLOP4, he finally succeeded in getting in the studio with Kanye to give him a listen, and later on even produced one of the tracks for Ye's Jesus Is King album called On God.
Once my album was complete, I wanted to play it for him.
Okay.
So that was the whole thing. I used to always tell him, like, yeah, you know, I'm working on my album, but I never played them songs until it was complete. I was just afraid. I don't want it to be whack.
In front of Kanye and he said something,
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna wait till it's done completely. So once it was done, I went over there, played it for him, and then that's when I started working on his album.
What did Kanye say about TLOP4? It's kind of funny because one of his albums was TLOP too, so.
That's what started. The whole point of the TLOP series was to get Kanye West's attention.
Really?
So
that's crazy.
I got his attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, after TLOP5, I'm not doing no more TLOPs. I don't have to continue doing it. For what I wanted to do it for, I feel like I've achieved that. It's time to move on.
But as for the TLOP4 Deluxe, Pierre Bourne has pretty much confirmed the project's release date for Juneteenth on Twitter, which is a holiday representing June 19th to commemorate the emancipation from slavery in Texas long ago on that exact day in 1865, which ironically correlates with the Black Lives Matter movement going on right now. I wonder if Pierre did that on purpose. Perhaps not though, because earlier in the month he has teased a few times on Twitter that the Deluxe TLOP4 would release on its anniversary, which would be June 21st. However, that is a Sunday, so we probably just moved it back to Friday for industry standards on project releases. Furthermore, this past week, Pierre previewed a track likely on the album, possibly titled Hold On his Instagram story. Already, the snippet is sending me back to mid-2019 when he first dropped TLOP4, because it has a very similar vibe to it, even using very similar imagery to the visuals with the purple and checkered backgrounds that he's used for promotional artwork for the project. Actually, many things will probably be very similar to the original TLOP4. For the primary reason Pierre Bourne is releasing the Deluxe rather than TLOP5, the final project in the series, before he moves on to a different concept, because he already succeeded in getting Kanye's attention with his music on the series, is because he wasn't ready to move on to a different sound. In all reality, we didn't even know a Deluxe was coming till more recently, as fans thought he had been working on the previously mentioned TLOP5 that he announced would be dropping tentatively in May at a pop-up.
It's his birthday. April. I was thinking May. Yeah, because you know it's the 5th month and it's TLOP4 and Rolling Loud. Yeah. So how does that sound, babe? Alright, but y'all can't tell nobody, alright? We're gonna keep it to the secret. I'm dead ass. Alright, we're gonna see how this shit go tomorrow.
And then when May came around, I guess he wasn't ready for TLOP5, so he tweeted, Deluxe then 5, okay? Okay. And because Pierre had so much time between the original tape's release and now, the Deluxe will likely consist of a similar amount of songs, like 10 plus, kind of like Nav and Uzi, who essentially dropped completely separate albums a week later. Well, in Nav's case, less, but you get the point. The Deluxe will also probably contain no features, just like the original, that I kind of gathered through one of his tweets recently, where he responded to a fan who mentioned him stating, Pierre gotta drop an album with a bunch of our favorite artists on it, to which he quoted and said, I'm not DJ Khaled bruh, which causes me to believe he wants to even further separate himself from the producer and curator mentality and emphasize the fact that he's his own artist. TLOP5 may end up being a different story, wherein Switchin' Lanes featuring Playboi Carti, a fan favorite leak/snippet, is supposed to be the intro track. And lastly, before we move on to the Yachty beef, Strapped from Twitter with the help of fans has drafted a proposed track list formed by Shazamming running all known possible new leaks and snippets from Pierre that we've attempted to do with Whole Lotta Red with some success. Therefore, we can likely expect the Deluxe to compose of Sauce Girl, Motto, Simon Says, JP, Purple Jeans, Deja Vu, TBH, Gotta Blast, Conspiracy, Growing Pains, Joe Morris, Sauce Boy, I guess the snippet we heard before, 4L, and Fortune Cookie at the least. This list already contains 14 songs, whereas the original TLOP4 consisted of 16 songs, so holding true to our prediction of a Deluxe acting as pretty much a separate project. I bet we will receive at least 2 more never heard before songs too, just because I'm sure Pierre didn't want to preview the absolute bangers and stored them on a manual hard drive that nobody could leak. Right as Pierre's TLOP4 Deluxe rollout starts, and coincidentally at the same time while Yachty's latest album Lil Boat 3 just dropped a couple weeks ago, the two are allegedly beefing, or at the least not on good terms according to an interview with Genius.
Are there gonna be more from you and him, man? Like,
man, bro, I don't even want.
I heard some things. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking, is the you? I done heard some things.
Pierre Bourne is weird, bro. I don't want to talk about Pierre. For real. Yeah, man. Me and Pierre used to be real tight. I don't know what's up with him.
I sat with him a couple of times, and the one thing I say about Pierre, at least from my perspective, is he's particular. He definitely got a way about doing things.
Yeah, he is particular. He is very particular. But me and Pierre have always, we've always. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't even want to talk about it because, bro, I don't really know what the state of our relationship is. Yeah.
Man, it's like that.
Yes, bro.
He cleared the record. The record's on.
I'm sure we all noticed the tone in Yachty's voice where he's not necessarily throwing shade at Pierre because he's attempting to remain respectful, but he called him weird and then explained he doesn't really know where their relationship is at the moment. Which is weird because even Yachty in this same interview claimed that they used to be super tight, and if you recall, or maybe you didn't know this at all, because I didn't until starting to research into what could have happened to cause this issue between the two, Yachty and Pierre even announced that they had a whole collab tape on the way at a show.
Do that shit tomorrow. Now y'all know I can't do that shit tomorrow, but it is coming soon. It's coming in a couple months. Oh shit! You want me to tell them about this shit? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! You got me nervous. Hey, y'all ready for some Bo and Pierre? Yeah! Hold on. A whole tape? Yeah! I said a whole tape. I think they're ready. All right, we're gonna give you that to y'all too.
I don't know what it is about rappers and announcing collab tapes and then never actually dropping it, as it seems everybody be doing it nowadays, and the only ones who actually pulled through with it were Future and Juice WRLD. Maybe it's because collab tapes haven't performed as well as solo projects in the past recent years, but either way, they shouldn't get our hopes up. But regarding their beef, I could not for the life of me find any information as to why they could have personal issues, but the only thing I could really assume goes back to Pierre wanting to solidify himself as his own artist rather than a producer, other than the beats he can't use for himself personally to record on that he can just send to other artists and make an extra bag. And the only times Yachty and Pierre have worked in the past is as a producer-artist relationship rather than equal artists, and if Pierre is producing and putting vocals on a track on the alleged collab tape with Yachty, he may feel like at that point he should just keep the song to himself. I would feel the same way, to be honest. Plus, if Yachty was on any of his solo tracks as a feature, you already know Yachty would overshadow Pierre's name to the mainstream and not give him his fair shot of blowing up not only as a producer, but as the artist he has always wanted to become. In summary, I don't think Pierre is trying to push Yachty or anybody out for that matter, but rather he wants to focus on his own career and the goals he needs to achieve personally that would be detrimented if he works with larger artists. Why else would he not be working with Cardi as much on Whole Lotta Red, letting Richie Soph take over most of the project when Pierre produced a majority of Cardi's previous 2 projects? So with that, it's your boy Bobbalam throwing the Pierre and Yachty beef on the grill and cook looking at medium rare, but when I cut into the middle it was purple, not a speck of red. Must mean Yachty was out of the picture. Let me know in the comments why y'all think Pierre and Yachty are beefing or not on good terms. Make sure to like and subscribe while you're at it for the latest hip-hop news and analysis videos, as well as to follow me on all my socials in the description if you with it. Peace out, cut it people. No sin.